Scruffy. You've been hiding from me all day. Yeah? So, I got some catching up to do. So I saw Scruffy last night, and I gave him kibble. So, usually when I'm extra nice to him, he's less nice the next day, because he's not as hungry, I think. So I wasn't sure what to expect today. Okay, so I have, let's see, mini pate super supper and kibble. I already brought up the water. It's a warm day today. Probably a little too warm. So warming trend finally hit. I didn't check the forecast. But originally it was supposed to peak either today or tomorrow, and then it's supposed to become more reasonable. So, not sure what to talk about. So I'll talk about seeing Scruffy last night while I feed him, because I got a little bit of footage of it. I guess I could talk about the footage I didn't get. So sometimes I see Scruffy late at night on the big table in front of the kitchen window. It's really dark, so I can barely make him out if he's kind of front and center. But usually he ignores me, so either he's sleeping or he just ignores me. I probably disturbed him because he probably thought there was nothing going on, and suddenly I'm doing something in the kitchen. And I think the last couple weeks, he's been on the table pretty frequently in the kind of late evening, but before midnight. So a lot of times, as I'm getting ready to go to bed, so I'm just doing last minute cleanup or something. So I saw him last night, and he was there again, and this time he actually meowed. So he's not done that. So he actually looked directly at me, and he meowed, and did that for a while. So he actually meowed multiple times. Fortunately, I didn't have my camera. It's hard to hear him through the windows too, but occasionally in the past, when he has meowed, it's been actually a very loud meow, so I can actually hear it. So he wasn't quite as loud as that, but he was still loud enough I could hear him. And it was kind of a friendly meow, so it seemed like he was kind of happy to see me. So I felt bad for him, and so I decided I'd come out with some kibble. So I got some footage of that, which I guess I'll show later. So I'm still not sleeping enough and not eating enough. So I'm still really, really stressed. I did almost finish my dinner last night, so it was better than the other night, which I think I only got through maybe a third of it. And once again today, I didn't have a proper meal. A little bit of peanut butter. which is better than nothing. But I did preoccupy myself with some other problems, so I was working on my taxes again. And last night I mentioned, I was stuck trying to figure out how to do the foreign tax credit. So it's form 1116. And I was having a very hard time getting it to do the right thing in TurboTax because the instructions sucked. And then it kept crashing on me. So last night I thought I had finally figured out what they wanted. And so it was crawling up the glove. So I thought they had figured out what they wanted, so I was optimistic I could solve it by the end of last night. But no, it turned into another nightmare. And I was actually up most of the night and morning, so I didn't go to bed till really late. Since I've been having trouble sleeping, figured, like I'll notice. So yeah, I didn't go to, or I didn't, yeah, so I woke up too early even though I went to sleep. I guess technically it was early this morning. It's probably like 4 a.m. or something. But the problem seems to be with TurboTax. It's actually a limitation. They didn't really program it correctly. So I actually hit several different problems. So one's the crashing bug. That's obviously a bug. Second problem is to do the foreign tax credit properly, you have to break down all your different things by country. And fortunately, I have multiple countries. If you're lucky, you only have one country, or everything is like an ETF or mutual fund, which happens. It is usually qualified, and you can use a category called RIC. Unfortunately, I actually own a couple individual stocks, so that, it's a meow. Does that mean you want your food early, or does that mean you like your pets? So anyway, yeah, I have to I need TurboTax to basically handle each country individually, and it doesn't want to do that unless you give it separate brokerage forms. So if your brokerage happens to give you separate brokerage forms, one for each different country for anything that you might own, then that would work, but nobody does that. They just give you one statement for all your stuff. So that makes, what TurboTax is thinking, it makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. And so I was reading the forums, trying to figure out what the workaround is. And it looks like, at least in the past, you are supposed to create a bunch of dummy brokerage forms, and then you start finessing some of the numbers so they break down by country, or the total amount of a country's contribution. And so basically you're creating a whole bunch of fake forms just to trick TurboTax into doing the right thing. It's really convoluted, and it's not obvious if there are going to be bad side effects to that. So the forum thing I was reading was I think it was a couple years old. So since the tax law changes every year and TurboTax changes every year, I don't know if it still works. So I was trying it, and I got 90 99% there, I think. But I started getting errors in the validation of your tax return. So before they actually submit it, they have a validation test, and then all the hacks that I started doing started triggering errors. So if I file electronically, I might not be allowed to. But since I actually have a different issue which prevents me from filing electronically, I might be able to just ignore that. Yeah. Ready for your food? Yeah. Okay, let's get your food. Okay, ready for your food? Thought you'd be less up. Oops. Yeah. Why are you jumpy? You were getting really good yesterday. Figures, yeah. Give him extra food in the middle of the night, and yeah, he regresses. Okay, I'm done. And then the final problem I hit with TurboTax is after I do this, and if I ignore the error, then it goes into this whole thing about telling me I need to. I'm now subject to the AMT, which I think is completely wrong. I know the AMT is really complicated, but I don't think. I don't think this should be triggering it, and I don't actually think I need to. I don't think I fall into the AMT, especially not for this. So I'm trying to figure out what the solution for that is, and there's less clarity on that. I think there were two extreme solutions. One was you go through the thing and just let TurboTax do its thing, but you don't. You have to pick an option. So there's a simplified version and a non-simplified version, and if you pick the simplified version, theoretically you are locked into that for life with the IRS, which removes certain flexibility. So I think people are saying don't pick the simplified, and then some people, at least this from previous years, they went through the generated forms and they said after all that it actually didn't impact the tax return at all, or at least in any meaningful way. The other stream was abort out of this section and don't finish it. And then just keep going. But this also leads into the validation error problem. But again, since I'm not going to be able to file electronically, maybe I don't need to care because of a different limitation TurboTax has. So. Oh well. So anyway, I'm still working on that, so I worked on it all day. But yeah, let me switch over to Scruffy here. So today, yeah, I didn't get any footage of him. I saw him briefly on the table out of late morning, sleeping. I didn't have the camera, and then he disappeared after that. And then I didn't see him at lunch, so I brought out the water and I looked around, didn't see him at all, so I actually walked around the table and looked into the distance, see if I could spot him, and I didn't see him. So I went back into the house, and then I think like a minute later I looked out the kitchen window and he was drinking from the water, so I think he was nearby, but he was hiding from me, so he didn't want me to see him. So anyway, as for last night, yeah, I didn't have much to say, so maybe I'll just show the footage. But so yeah, I saw he was meowing at the kitchen window, so I turned on the light and got him a small scoop of kibble. I put it on a plate, and I was actually going to put the plate on the table, so he didn't have to jump down. But the moment I opened the blinds and started opening the door, he started moving to jump off the table. So by the time I came out, he was already off. And he was showing both skittishness and desire for food. So he looked a little scared of me, but at the same time it looked like, yeah, he was food motivated. So I poured the kibble onto the red plate where I usually put the water bowl, and then I backed off and let him eat. And it was kind of cold last night. Not terribly cold, but cold enough. I was wearing very light clothing. I wasn't planning to come out here, so I was starting to lose heat. So I couldn't stay out here that long, but I stayed out here long enough to let him eat, just so he'd get used to my presence again. Because he's really skittish. So I went to the park today for a run. Since my runs have been going so badly, I decided I'd just do intervals today. I haven't actually tried to do intervals every day, mostly just because I figure they're pretty hard on the body because you're moving at full speed, but I'm actually still not at full speed, so I thought, I can handle another extra day of it. Because my problem is I just been unable to focus, and I can't keep my pace, and I usually just slow down and start walking, which doesn't get my heart rate up. Wow, he ate fast. So I tried to increase my speed a little bit today. I'm still not near where I was, but I was at least getting my heart rate up. And by the time I reached the first lap, I was actually pretty tired. So I wasn't actually able to finish the normal one. And let me move the balls for you. Yeah, he's terrified. I don't know why you're so scared, Scruffy. I'm the one who brought out your food. So yeah, I didn't. So the normal 1.5 laps, or whatever, where I usually do is the length of my interval run. Yeah, I was already exhausted at a little less than the one lap mark. So I ended up walking a bit, and then I extended the whole course to do a full two laps, and tried to do more intervals in that extra length to make up for it. And probably didn't, but at least I got my heart rate up. Tested my lung capacity a little bit. So let's see. I didn't get any footage since I was running today. But yeah, I did see Porch Cat again. Looks very indecisive. So I'm overdue for watering the garden. So thinking I need to do it soon, but yeah, I've been preoccupied with all this other crap, so I'm putting it off. And I kind of want to wait for the heat wave to dissipate. Okay, folks, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.